Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel. So, for those who don't know, I've kind of had a bit of a, shall we say, a rotating schedule in place with my personal live streams. Specifically, I kind of plan, at least for a little bit, to... It started with the remaster of Tales of Grace's F, which was being the key word, one of my favorite games of all time. Not anymore. Streaming it, I realized, it's actually not that great. But since then, I've wanted to play a Tales game, play a Sonic game, then play a Dragon Age game. So, I just finished Dragon Age 2. Hey, Muffin. Yes, this is the game I hate more than any other game of all time. I cannot stand this game. I hate it so much that it has been joked by Abby, by Sunshine, by Kendall, that it's basically my ex-wife. Well, based on that schedule I mentioned, since I beat Dragon Age, it's now time to come back to the Tales series, which is my favorite video game franchise of all time, which incidentally has my least favorite game of all time, which is this one. I've been kind of keeping it vague, mostly due to the fact that this is actually one of the most well-beloved Tales games because people are stupid. I'm sorry. I usually try to respect people's opinion, but the fact that this game is popular is because people are stupid. Context: this game came out in 2006. Mid-2000s, and the main character of this game is peak 2000 edgelord cringe. And that's one of the main reasons I hate this fucking game. I have a very long history behind Tales series, then Shadow Generations. That is correct. After those who don't know, the game I'll play after this is Shadow Generations. Well, I'll technically be playing through Sonic Generations first, and then I'll be doing the Shadow stuff because I've never played Sonic Generations. But I digress. I am going to be going into major details as to why I hate this series. But to say the very least, Tales of Symphonia is my favorite game of all time, and that game actually changed my life. This game, let's just dive into it, shall we? I've put it off enough. So I'm just gonna let you see the opener, because it's okay. Fuck you. I I am not the biggest fan of this opening theme, if I'm being honest. It's not the worst opening theme. Like, I actually think Tales of Symphonia has a worse opening theme than this one, but never done Sonic Race either. Yeah, no, it's... So, part of the reason I hate this game so much, and I do want to say this was the first Tales game I played after Tales of Symphonia. So, going to a game that is so precious and so dear to me that it actually was scary to stream because I was worried that people would be harsh when I showed off Tales of Symphonia to this. I actually think this game's insulting. But yeah. Oh, fuck you. Sorry, that character right there is another reason why this game is shit, in my humble opinion, but we will get to him when we get to him. Fuck you, Raven. Sorry, I'm going to have very few kind things to say in this stream, so just forewarn, this is probably the... Oh, right, I kind of forgot about that. Okay, so some important context. This game was originally released in 2006 on the Xbox 360, purely because it was the only next-gen console available at the time of this game's release. Well, a year or two later, it was re-released exclusively in Japan on the PlayStation 3, and it had added content that was never seen in the West. Well, we didn't see any of this content in America until 2009. Or not 2009, 2019, when the definitive edition came out, which is what I'm playing. By the way, just for context, another reason I hate this game, I technically have bought this game 3 times, including the definitive edition. So I'm already in a bit of a bad mood because of that, because I've wasted so much money at the on this one. Anyway, I'll kind of get more into that as well. I watched most of your Symphonia stream. I have said Symphonia so many times. I have Symphonia on my auto for typing it so much. So 2006, damn, I was only just a wee baby. Yeah. So I have actually ranted about this game when I was streaming Symphonia. I actually ranted about this game while I was streaming Graces. And I ranted about this game when Abby and I streamed Tales of Berseria several years ago. Because in many respects, in my opinion, Berseria is what this game wanted to do but done well.
Our world, Terca Lumones. No one knows how far its lands and oceans stretch. For the people are no match against the hordes of monsters that crawl the earth.
Yeah.
Barriers protect the cities in which we live, and we are completely dependent upon them for our survival. These barriers are generated by the Blastia,
which are totally not
Blastia
X-Spheres.
is the primeval power of air that fills the world.
Which is basically mana, but for some reason we had to call it something different.
And light. They provide us with everything that has made the Empire prosper.
Capitalism. Atreyu!
Perhaps one day, we may even forget the threat of the vicious monsters lying in wait.
Yep, nice yummy deer meat.
Just beyond the barriers.
Just like Crystal Chronicle. Okay, I'm actually joking about that one.
The blessings of the Blastia will bestow ever more prosperity to the world and peace to its people.
don't know. I don't get it. What could have happened to the barrier in this town?
So, fun fact. When I was first playing Tales of Berseria, there's a character in it named Oscar. When I first saw him, I'm like, wait, is that Flynn? That character we just saw that said, oh no. His name's Flynn.
Bedrock of peace. We pray, may tranquility bless this world.
Fuck you, loser. Okay, so the way he said, oh no, he said it with such a monotone. I mean, this is mid-2000s. This game only was released 3 years after Symphonia, so they've got a lot of the same voice acting issues.
This is not good.
Heck, a lot of them have the same, there's a lot of the same voice actors in
What's
both.
with all the yelling, Ted?
Shut up. But also...
Look, the Aqua Blasty is broken again. And they just finished fixing it.
What's the big deal? Just leave it to the mighty Imperial Knights. That's what they're there for.
Not even 2 lines in, and he's already showing why I hate this motherfucker. Just leave it to them.
Knights, you know they never come to the lower quarter.
What about the heroic Flynn?
Oh, you fuck.
I already tried to get Flint. They wouldn't even let me see him.
Oh, so I'm Flynn's replacement, huh?
Yeah, Flynn should have been the main character. In fact, I think, I can't prove it, but I actually think that Asbel from Tales of Graces was meant to, because Asbel's very similar to Flynn. I think they made Graces so you could actually have a Tales game where you got to play as Flynn as a main character. A pearl-haired person named Yuri. I'm getting trauma flashbacks when I played DDLC. What does DDLC stand for?
Never mind that. Come on. We're short on people.
Also, his design just screams edge, you know, just, oh, black, dark. I'm a brooding bad boy. I've got the long unkempt hair. Doki Doki Literature Club. Got it.
That's weird. He always comes running whenever there's trouble. This place is gonna become an aquarium soon if this keeps up.
So, another thing about this game, Tales of the Abyss, and Tales of Symphonia were all made relatively close to one another. As a result, there's a lot of borrowed elements, or at least familiar elements across the 3 games. And unfortunately, Vesperia borrows more than a little bit from Symphonia. That's another reason I don't like it, is because I keep seeing things like, well, that's just from Symphonia, done worse. Also, when I think Flynn, I think of just Junior and Breakfast from Breaking Bad. I've never actually seen Breaking Bad, but I do know about it through cultural osmosis. Oh, also, Yuri's just too cool to walk out the door. He's got to jump out the window. Also, for some reason, he's too cool to tie his sword to his belt. He has to carry his weapon with him all the time, and I just got to admit, this has always just been such an odd design choice for his character, and it feels like more, how do I put this? Like, someone being like,
First,
how...
the trouble with the Knights yesterday. Now the Aqua Blastia breaks. Why does stuff like this happen every day in the lower quarter? I know. There's no use whining about it.
It just kind of reminds me of... someone's like, hey, that's something that, you know, a rebel who doesn't follow conventions would do, you know? I guess I can't open these until they join. Yeah, so this definite... How is that cool? It's not even lazy. You're putting even more effort... exactly. By the way, a lot of these came as like free DLC for because of it was the definitive edition, and because I don't actually want to put any effort to have to replay this game at all, I am I'm just going to exploit everything that they've provided me, so I do not have to give a fuck. Cool. Cause yeah, I really can't emphasize enough, I fucking hate this game. And if it wasn't for the fact that me and Abby kind of agreed, I'm like, this would be kind of funny. Kind of just making me trying to suffer through it, you know? Let's see. Is it here? Here we go. Alright, let's see what... Okay. I didn't know being a rebel meant doing things inefficiently. So yeah, these... I don't think these unlock every single costume. Wait, what's the difference between Downtown Boy, and... I don't think this unlocks every single costume he could get in the game. By the way, that's a character from Tales. That's the edgy character from Tales of the Abyss, so... Oh, brother. That's the main villain of Tales of Hearts. That's Mitsurugi from Soul Calibur. I'm sure that's from something, but I don't know what it is. Okay, yeah, this doesn't unlock everything. Because they're, like, probably everyone's favorite. Like, I'm not going to be able to get... I'm not even going to try to get all the second costumes in this game. Mostly because I don't fully care. But also because... they're kind of a pain in the ass to unlock, because in Tales of Symphonia, it was usually like, hey, you have to do like a few things here or there throughout the course of the game, but most of the costumes could be got after a certain point. But in this game, you have to be periodically doing little side quests to get certain costumes, and like the Dark Swordsman, which is like his assassin gear or whatever. It's like, you need a guide. Otherwise, because it's very specific. But yeah, you're right. Yuri screams, man, I'm so cool and broody. Like, does Yuri even have depth? No. The game tries to give him depth and fails. Miserably. Like, the reason why Yuri is popular is because he's a broody bad boy who's just like, I'm above everyone and everything. But, by the way, just to give you an idea, I asked Abby to play through this game with me so that we could so maybe she could actually help me develop an appreciation for this game that I just couldn't. We didn't even get through the game before Abby's like, fuck this shit, I'm done. Because, yeah, even she, optimistic Abby, who's always kind of tried to help me find, you know, a different way to look at games and whatnot, she couldn't even make this game work. But no, Yuri is not deep. Yuri is a bitch. Just straight up, Yuri is a bitch. That is the extent of his character. But because he's not a goody two-shoes, because like, I could admit, a lot of the Tales series protagonists are a little one-note altruistic. Abby was like, oh, hell no, then this game is beyond saving. It really is. Now, admittedly, a lot of Tales protagonists, like Lloyd and Asbel, are pretty one-note, but they're very kind and accepting. Yuri's one-note, too, but because I'm a bad boy who doesn't follow the rules, everyone just was lining up to suck his dick.
Yeah, but you're late, so I'm not sharing.
I mean, and don't get me wrong, Tales games in general don't have deep characters unless it's Berseria. And one thing I'll admit, even though I don't like Tales of the Abyss, its main character, Luke, is a decently deep character. It's just, he starts insufferable, but then goes through a great character arc. Yuri has no development. And anyone who tells me otherwise, I will fight them on this, because people just thought he was nice to have variety. Except it's not really variety, it's just...
With the water sports, old man. You're not getting any younger.
Well, don't get me wrong. I read a really shitty book series when I was younger called The Sword of Truth, which is basically just softcore porn. And I like the fact that the main character wasn't willing to just was willing to kill people just because they offended him. So it's like, yeah, just kill them, you know, don't let him come back later. But I'm like, that's not actually being deep or unique, you know. It's just tapping into that youth edgelordness for kids who probably grew up watching nothing but Disney movies, you know.
And now he's the one who's all wet. It's not Hanks's fault that mage did a 2-bit repair job, though.
That's true. He even partied with his wife's keepsake to help raise the money.
By the way, I want everyone in the stream to remember that opening monologue about how the entire world is dependent on the Blastia to function, whether it's for barriers or even, you know, to get water. So
Hanks, did you see the Blastia core anywhere? You know, that shiny piece in the center?
because the world being dependent on Blastia, it's kind of a very significant plot point. One that's not properly... Well, we'll get to that.
Yeah, the Blastia won't work with the core missing. That aristocrat who came to do the repairs was the last person to touch the Blastia, right?
That's right, Mr. Mordio.
And he lives in the royal quarter?
Yeah, so? Forget about that, Yuri. Give us a hand here.
Sorry, Hanks. I just remembered an errand I've got to run.
Hey, wait just a minute.
My childhood was basically Ninjago, Mickey Mouse, The Amazing World of Gumball, and a bunch of Disney shows. And yeah, don't get me wrong, like,
You're not seriously thinking of going to Mr. Mordio's place, are you?
I most certainly enjoy.
I wouldn't be caught dead going to a place
I
like that.
remember enjoying a number of things, even if they weren't good, just because they were different than my super sanitized kids' entertainment, you know. But
Because you can do a few tricks with that bony Blastia, you think you're invincible.
oh,
Here's hoping he doesn't do anything crazy.
He
Just-
always seems to cause problems when the lower quarter's involved.
Even the knights have started keeping an eye on him.
Well, it's just an average day for Yuri. I'm sure he'll be fine.
so just for context, because they kind of throw that out there without addressing it. Do you see that little silver band on Yuri's left arm? That's called a Bodhi Blastia. They're basically X-spheres in this world. They're mini Blastia that you can basically connect to your body to supercharge. Like, literally, they are basically the X-spheres from Tales of Symphonia. Except, I will say, unlike Tales of Symphonia, the Bodhi Blastia aren't made by forcing humans into labor camps and working them to death so the X-sphere can absorb their life energy and whatnot. But yeah, the Bodhi Blastia are basically X-spheres. So that's, again, one of the reasons why, one of the things that was instantly like, wait, is this game just gonna retread Symphonia? And to be fair, the Gumball thankfully wasn't very sanitized. It was just too young to understand all the hidden adult jokes. Sounds like Animaniacs. And Gumball walking into a banana person watching an orange being... Oh my god! That's amazing. That is amazing. Because that could either be interpreted as porn or he's watching a snuff film. He's watching someone be skinned alive. That's... There are so many layers to that joke. That is funny. Or heck, maybe it's torture porn. Maybe it's both. Maybe it's torture and porn. That sadly does exist. Hold on, what was I thinking? I've got plenty of... It kind of reminds me, so just what you said, it reminds me of the... Have you ever heard the story? Oh, one thing I do want to okay, actually, once I get a new sword, I'll show you, because this game does one thing, and I know it was also done in a Final Fantasy game, I just don't know which one.
You there! Are you aware of the serious events going on in the world?
But it is a gameplay mechanic I do like. Tales of Graces had something similar, and I liked it there too, but anyway. Yeah, Gumball had a lot of amazing jokes like that when you watch as an adult. They're wild. Nice.
Over here, right here, I'm the Wonder Reporter.
The Who.
Bringing you the articles about what matters most every day. Do you read the newspaper in the morning? Cup of coffee? Donut? What? You don't? That just won't do.
You can't guilt me.
What epic thing has transpired today? You'll never believe it.
Shut up.
You can read it whenever, wherever, and with no effort at all. Yes, it's the Wonder Log. Put it to good use. And by the way, let's let the fact that I'm in the wall be our little secret, okay?
I want to die. This guy's voice, and I want to die. This guy. We talking about Yuri's
Well,
voice?
farewell.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel ya. Shoot, trying to remember who does voice Yuri, because he's a good voice actor, but he was just instructed to give such a bland performance.
You hear about the Blastia in the lower quarter?
Yes, I heard something about it breaking and them collecting money to fix it.
That's right. I hear that lot went so far as to sell their treasures to save up the money.
Treasures, sir?
Worthless junk. Nothing more. They wouldn't have gotten more than 1 gold for them.
Not even 1 gold? I can't imagine what sort of treasures those would have to be. I'd like to have a look myself.
I'm telling you, nothing but junk.
Listen to those guys. Poor Hanks. Can't really argue with them about the junk thing, though.
Okay, if you can't argue with them, why are you bad-mouthing them?
What the? Who's there?
Yeah, because laws are,
If you can't understand the value of junk, you're worth less than junk yourself.
No, I don't fully... I get what you're saying. You're more trying to apply that to, the people, but I do not fully agree with that philosophy, By the way,
Repeat.
just to emphasize the edginess, so Lloyd had a dog companion, Noish, that kind of green and white dog hound thing. So does Yuri. And of course, Yuri's dog companion has a scar on its face, it's smoking a pipe, and fights with a knife. I think this kind of character the main character? I don't fucking know. Because it was the early 2000s. It was the mid to early 2000s. Edgy characters were all the rage.
Blastia cores from here too. Looks like somebody's got some sticky fingers. That's the royal quarter for you. A few Blastia cores go missing, no one even makes a fuss. When just one is enough to throw the lower quarter into chaos. If they got cores to spare, they could stand to give us some.
And, the other frustrating thing about this game, to me, especially as an American during the Trump administration, the message that this game has at the start would be super relevant. The problem is, so this game came out in 2006, it's almost 20 years old, so I don't give a fuck about spoiling. This game starts being with strong messages about classism and the 1% withholding the wealth from the lower people for their own comfort and whatnot. That's super relevant right now. But that doesn't end up being the main story of the game.
Looks like the nobles are
it's a
living the street
factor,
life as
but
usual. The lower quarter is right there.
if this
They still don't
game,
give a damn.
the problem is most Tales games need to have world-ending
act,
consequences because they're meant to be
Not just
for
dress
younger
nice and hide in their
audiences. So they want to
mansions.
tell big and grand stories. That's not a problem. Also, who's going to do a full play of this game? So I keep spoilers hidden. I'm going to try and play through this game in its entirety, mainly because I want to showcase how bad it is. And I really want to make my case that this is a bad game, despite how many fans there are of it. But, because I'm not joking. This is one of the most universally loved Tales games. You will always, look up any top Tales game list online. It's going to be in the top 3. You are all stupid. Look, I am not going to pretend that Tales of Graces, when I replayed it, that was my 3rd favorite Tales game. When I replayed it for the channel, I realized it was actually really bad. And I've come to recognize that. And I know that a lot of the Tales games are actually pretty bad. This one is not better than Symphonia, Berseria, or even Abyss. Yeah, okay, I know that you're probably tired because I don't have my usual enthusiasm, so that's not helping you get along, but anyway. But how do I put
Doesn't
this?
seem like there's anyone around.
The problem I have here with Yuri is the fact that
if there's any other way in.
he's acting like, oh, I don't care about the world. The world sucks. Oh, people suck, you know? They're trying to do the whole aloof character who actually has a heart of gold, but they do such a terrible job with it. He's not as bad as, say, Squall from Final Fantasy VIII, but he falls into the same pitfalls as Squall from Final Fantasy VIII.
Hiding here somewhere.
Like, honestly, and I mean this literally, any one of the other companions except for Sally. But even then, Sally was a brand new character that wasn't in the original Xbox release of the game. She was only in the PlayStation 2 release, or PlayStation 3 release, and then the re-release on this definitive edition. I'm also tired mentally because I've been home all day working for hours on a laptop. Yeah, that would also do it. But because she wasn't part of the original game, she had to be worked into the narrative, and it wasn't handled the best. Yes, look at me. I'm going to quickly hold up the sphere that I've stolen to make sure that anyone who is potentially looking can see the evidence of my crime that I just committed. Yes, I've escaped now. Shame.
Good boy.
Too bad he got the thing you need.
The Blastia core is gone.
Yeah, that's because it was in his hand, not in the bag, dum-dum.
Let's go and get that core back. And give that mage a whooping while we're at it.
Rough. The white spiky hood, it's crooked, but still just feels wrong after going through the high school history class. Oh, yeah, you mean how it kind of looks like, you know, certain Christian hate group cloaks and hoods? Yeah, no, I was about to make the same joke, but oh my god.
So it is you who are the cause of all this commotion.
Yay, it's the comic relief minor antagonists.
I know he's poor, but breaking into an aristocrat's house? My, how the mighty have fallen. Just what I needed. Tweedle A and Tweedle B.
Why not just say Tweedledum and Tweedledummer?
Just what is a Tweedle anyway? There's no hope of escape. We've got you surrounded.
When you say what the fuck, are you talking about with these character designs or the thing about the Christian hate groups that I said earlier?
Does it look like I'm trying to escape? See, it's stuff like that that keeps you guys from getting promoted.
Yeah.
You did not just say that.
I mean, these character designs would work in one of the more light-hearted Tales games, but because this game is trying to be taken seriously, these two stick out like sore thumbs.
Enough beating around the bush, I guess.
Oh yeah, that's how he draws his sword, by the way. Especially Mr. Long. Because, God forbid he actually just draws his sword like a normal person. Also, just look at the during this fight, just watch Yuri's animations while he fights. Your name is Otacor?
I'll handle this. In the name of the Imperial Knights.
I know I've played through this game technically 3 times, not counting the time with Abby, because we almost finished it, but we didn't, but
I say, I shall be the one to defend the good name of the Imperial Knights. Peons, I say, should stand back.
You're the peon.
No, I say, I am your superior.
I appreciate the sentiment, guys, but let's cut the cat fight and get on with it.
okay. 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 Okay, so one of the other reasons I had such a bad experience with this game is before I ever played it, I met someone else who was also a big fan of Tales Symphonia. And they said, oh, this game is so much better than Symphonia, and the fact that you could freely run around the arena was the only reason they gave me for it being better. Which, don't get me wrong, being able to freely roam the arena, is good. Like, I'm not going to pretend that it's not good.
Hey, let's go. I am your superior.
Also, I need to tell the story about how I had to end up buying this game a total of 3 times. Okay, sir. Yeah, so just look at the animations of Yuri while he fights. Oh, wait. Okay. Okay, when I'm pushing forward, he looks a little more normal. Sorry. Usually in the games, the direction you're holding the stick affects how the character swings, so I want to... Okay. But yeah, this is like the not pushing in any direction animation. Okay, now admittedly these like movement attacks, those are things I do like. So again, I want to be clear, from a gameplay standpoint, I actually would recommend this game over Symphonia because the combat is much more seamless. Like, that is something I do want to give this game.
There, how'd that make you feel?
How dare you! Hitting someone in the middle of an argument is hardly proper manner.
Didn't you hear me when I said, you ready? Or were you not listening?
Damn it!
Oh, brother.
You stop right there!
Does it look like I'm running?
You be quiet!
Oops, time for a little defense.
Also, okay, that's one of the most impractical ways to block or to defend if you are only carrying a single blade, you know?
My attack!
I say Sonic Thrust!
Whoa, come on, give me a break.
Ooh! I say, how dare you block my art!
Also, I think this was actually the first time for me I played a Tales game where they officially started calling these arts. Because they were just called techniques in Symphonia, and they've been called arts in almost every other Tales game as far as I know. I honestly wonder if the technique thing was a translation error.
If you can use strike arts here, then I can too.
Okay, so one thing I do want to admit, most Tales games, the main character has access to Demon Fang as their default move. It's no, you know, it's just kind of like a ranged art that the main character can use. That's not universally true, but like Lloyd, Luke, I think even Velvet could get Demon Fang. Jude got Demon Fist because he didn't use a sword. I like Azure Edge better than Demon Fang. Like, I can admit that. I prefer Azure Edge to Demon Fang.
Let's try that again. This next one's gonna hurt.
Again, as much as I hate this game, I want to acknowledge when it does something I do actually kind of enjoy, you know? Just because, much like with when I played through Tales of Graces, even though I did eventually realize the game wasn't very good, I really want to look at these games. Wait. I really want to look at these games. Oh. Okay, I already get an art. Okay. What the? Okay. Oh. 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 Right. One of the, like, DLC things that I got, because this is the definitive edition, I think it came with, like, a buff that meant it's like I've already used a lot of the arts an X number of times, which is why I was just unlocking them in rapid succession. Oh, this guy.
I won't be catching up with that carriage anytime soon.
How typical of the Schwann Brigade. They can't even manage to capture a single lowlife.
Captain Cumore? I say, our apologies for this unsightly display.
I'm afraid the Imperial Knights have no use for you low-born scum.
I'm just gonna let things sit here on this character design. There is nothing that I can say about this character that Clearly the artists weren't trying to convey themselves.
Please, don't let Sir Schwan know about this, sir.
I can't believe our taxes go to paying these guys. There he is.
I say, that tops it all. Abandoned by his faithful pooch.
Well, you've had a busy day, haven't you, Mr. Yuri Lowell? I'm rather busy myself, but I suppose I can afford to play with you for a while. Gentlemen!
It's rats like you that make Flynn's job so difficult.
Flynn, a little suffering is just what that upstart lieutenant needs.
Yeah, he is colorful. You know,
When you've finished with him, throw him in the prison as usual.
but with like the boob hole, the cod
10
piece.
days or so ought to teach him a lesson.
Okay, I will admit, I do kind of like the character trait that Yuri had. That it's like, okay,
The thief made off with a priceless treasure from that noble's mansion.
I like the fact that once Yuri realized Rapide was going to be able to escape, because it wasn't made clear, but that bag was full of all the treasures that the peasants paid to fix the Blastia. Once Rapide made off with those, he's like, okay, I don't need to keep stalling for time. So I'm like, okay. It is a nice bit about Yuri's character. It does say something about Yuri's character that he's like, as long as I'm helping the poor and I'm screwing with the knights, that's good enough. I'm like, okay, there's a seed of an idea for a good character there.
I know. Then he was caught and the loot was returned, right?
No, see, that's just nobility trying to keep things quiet. The treasure in the mansion right now is a fake.
You're pulling my leg.
So, something that's kind of ironic.
You didn't hear it from me, Bub. The Dark Wings are going nuts looking for the hideout.
The guy who's talking right now, the one who just spoke,
You mean the Thieves Guild?
he was actually originally the only character in this game I liked on my first playthrough. When I played through it the second time, he actually became one of my least favorite characters.
That's enough out of you. Almost mealtime.
Hey, neighbor, you're awake, right? You gotta be getting tired from keeping so quiet.
I do like his design, though.
You think that little story up all by yourself, old man? You must have plenty of time on your hands.
Old man? Now you've gone and hurt this old man's feelings.
I mean, Yuri is a Tales game protagonist, so unless he's Velvet, I'm pretty sure he's still in his teens. So the fact that you're in your 40s means, by his standards, you are old.
Besides, I didn't make up nothing. I've got eyes and ears the world over digging up information for me.
Actually, I want to confirm something real quick. Okay, actually, Yuri Lowe, the main character, is the oldest Tales protagonist that I'm aware of, because he is actually in... He's 21.
Sure you do, old man.
Because Velvet, I think, is the next oldest, because she's 19. Whereas Luke from Abyss was 17. Asbel was 18. Yeah, he might have been... He was 17 or 18. Lloyd, I think, was 16.
Hey, I am what I am.
But yeah,
Ask me
so...
something. I'll tell you whatever you want to know. Want to know about the Pirate Guild's sunken treasure? How about the sorcerer who makes his home at the ends of the earth? Or wait, I've got it.
I just want to know how to get out of here.
Well, I'm not sure what you're in for, but they'll let you out if you keep your trap shut for 10 days.
The lower quarter will be underwater by then.
The lower quarter. Ah, yeah, I heard about that.
I wonder how they're all doing right now.
Right, this is Yuri's voiced by Troy Baker. Sorry, hold on. I want to look up Troy Baker's career, because he's a good voice actor, damn it.
Sorry, neighbor.
But
that's one piece of
I
dirt
don't know what the problem was here, you
What am
know?
I gonna do about that damn Mordio?
The Mordio? You mean to say you've got connections to the famed mage from Aspio, the city of scholars?
Do you know about him?
Apparently, Troy Baker's been the Joker in a lot of DC properties.
Oh, want to know, huh? I'm afraid that information won't come cheap.
He's apparently done voices for
The famed
Fortnite.
mage from Ospio, the city of scholars, right? I think I got it.
Well, wait, that's not it. He's the head of the Gourmet Guild. No, wait, it's the, I mean...
Out.
Oh well, just when things were getting good.
Okay, he's also apparently voiced Batman a few times.
Hurry up. What is Commandant Alexei doing here?
Oh yeah, Commandant Alexei. So, again, another spoiler, shall we say. Alexei. Alexei should have been the main villain. And in many ways, Alexei is the main villain.
Just who are you
But
anyway?
the problem is,
What does
you
the head of the
deal with
Knights want with
Alexei, I think like 2/3 of the way through the game, if not less than that.
Beneath the statue of the goddess.
So the plot stops revolving around him. And quite frankly, the game doesn't work because of that, in my opinion. That's another reason why the game doesn't
What are
work,
you
in my
doing?
opinion.
I said hurry up.
All right, easy. I'm coming. I did say I was looking for a way out of here.
Muffin, you still here?
Back again. Man, I was just in here last month for fighting some knights collecting taxes. I guess I get free meals out of it, if you can call it food. Damn, Cumor's made this way more complicated than it needed to be.
Yeah, but regardless of what the mage... Okay, cool. Just checking. But regardless of what the mage did,
It opened.
you still broke and entered and assaulted him. Yes, I want to be clear. He 100% deserved it.
Ever vigilant
Like,
as usual. With the way he's
I think
sleeping,
that's
it'll be
part
a
of the
while before
problem
anyone
I
notices the
have
fight come back before morning.
with
I'll never be
games and
wiser to my
stories
early
like
jailbreak.
this. Is
I
that
think I can check on
the
local
main
court and make it back
character
by morning.
breaks the law and does more
It'd probably
immoral
be good to try that
things,
statue of
but
the
because
goddess,
it's like,
too.
oh, but the people I'm doing it to are so awful, it's not a big deal. I should be praised for it, and everyone else should get out of the way, and anyone who stops me is actually the real bad guys, or at the very least, they're like, oh, you're just sheep or something like that, you know? Which I'm like, that's not interesting. That's the reason why, in my opinion, Tales of Berseria works so well, because, how do I put this? Velvet is also a bad guy, and the game doesn't go out of its way to say that anything she does is good. Like, yeah, they make it clear that Artorias is evil too, but they also full on acknowledge, call out, and at the end of the game, Velvet has to pay for the fact that she did so many evil acts. Yes, she eventually steps up and does save the world from, you know, equally evil people, if not worse evil people, but
Guess we can do this.
again, the universe properly calls it out. Once I finish learning all my arts, then I'm gonna have to actually go through and figure out which ones I want equipped where.
Take a load off for a while. My rap sheet is long enough as it is, but guess I don't have much choice but to fight if they discover me. I need to be wary of these guys on patrol.
Actually, I'm curious. Oh, this game, because its combat is going to be so easy that I could basically just close my eyes and mash the X button. So I'm gonna request, again, as much as I hate this game, let's give the combat some leeway here, you know? Because that's on me. I was a bit distracted when I was collecting the buffs, because I stand by what I say. I don't really want to play. I don't really want to legitimately play this game too much because it's a pain. It is legitimately difficult, and I just kind of want to show you guys what's its deal and just move on with my life. But that's a bit much, I think. I kind of wish I hadn't accepted that particular buff. Okay. This is a character I do still flip-flop a little on. I want to be clear, I do like her as a whole.
Why don't we just go back?
I can't go back now.
This is for your own good, miss. You know that.
As for the incident, we assume full responsibility and will inform the lieutenant ourselves.
How can you say that when you haven't done anything to help me? Please, don't come any closer.
Now, why don't you put that down? You'll only end up hurting yourself.
I know how to use a sword.
I'm afraid you leave us no choice. I was hoping it wouldn't come to this.
Guys,
There she is! This way!
Please, you've got to let me go. I have to warn Flynn.
Did she say Flynn?
Hey!
Flynn, you came to help me? Who are you?
also, I think
Identify yourself.
the idea is that Azure Edge is a move that both Yuri and Flynn know because they're childhood friends.
I was being...
That's
He's gonna blast you.
It shouldn't be a problem if we take him to...
I think that's why she was like, Flynn!
How's this?
Man, is this what knights do now? Don't they teach these guys manners in night school anymore?
Yeah.
Hey! Are you trying to kill me?
Well, you don't belong in the castle, right?
No, and I'll take it as a compliment that you can tell that by looking at me.
Because I'm too good to be...
Yuri Lowell, where are you?
You foul fugitive! I say, we know you're trying to make your escape.
Oh, please, not them again. I guess there's no point in going back to the prison cell now.
Louder, fools. Say it like you mean it.
Lieutenant LeBlanc, your voice is too loud. My ears.
Yuri Lowell? You're one of Flynn's friends, aren't you?
Yeah, why?
And you used to belong to the Imperial Knights.
Bum, bum, bum.
Just for 3 short months.
So yeah, Yuri's a former knight. That is kind of the basic backbone. In fact, one thing I hate about this game, there was a short movie that was released that was a prequel to this game that was about Yuri's time as a knight. I've never seen it because I couldn't, at the time when I was still playing this game, this was when video sharing online was still not amazing unless you wanted to download it illegally. So I never watched it back then. I've never really gone on my way to see it. And quite frankly, to my understanding, it's inoffensive enough. It's frustrating that movie that they're like, oh, the thing that is like the backbone of his motivation, we're going to have it separate. But he does talk about it enough that you can get by without it. Plus, it's not as... Ooh, I do not like the Tales of Symphonia anime adaptation. Just
You heard
pretend that
from
doesn't
Flynn?
exist.
Yes?
Guess he managed to find someone at the castle he could talk to after all.
Yuri, I need to talk to Flynn.
Hold on just a second. Who are you supposed to be, anyway? I can tell you know Flynn, but why are you being chased by the knights?
Over here.
Listen, I want to hear the whole story, but we can't really afford to stand around and chat. First things first. Let's get to Flynn's place. Want me to lead the way?
Yes.
Let's go.
Okay, so actually a number of the more popular Tales games have actually had some anime adaptations in some way. Like Symphonia had an anime adaptation that is really bad, and I don't recommend it. And the reason why it's bad, in case for those who are wondering, it's because they kind of have to nutshell a lot of things because of how do I put this? It's Symphonia, if you just play from it from start to finish on a new file, it'll take you 40 plus hours. It was a short anime, so they had to crowbar in a lot. So the details aren't properly represented, and certain details are changed, making the anime worse. So don't watch the Symphonia anime. Tales of the Abyss also got an anime adaptation, but I believe it got a few more episodes. I actually own the Abyss anime, and I actually think it's pretty good. I don't, again, and I'm speaking as someone who doesn't like Tales of the Abyss very much. I don't know if it's
Smells tasty.
better
Oh,
than
you're
the
right.
game,
What could it be?
but
Oh yeah, isn't the Knights Dining Hall?
I
around
do
here?
recommend the anime of Tales of the Abyss if you want to experience that story, but you don't have a 3DS with a copy of the remake of Tales of the Abyss, or you don't have a PlayStation 2 with a copy of the original release of Tales of the Abyss, because trust me, like, go, like, ugh, curry sounds really good right now. Like, trust me when I say, if you go on eBay or Amazon, just any online site, you know, resale site, just Google, like, in particular, look up Tales of Destiny or Tales of the Abyss or even the GameCube version of Tales Symphonia. They're all going for a fuck ton. I think the 3DS version of Abyss is a little more common, so it doesn't quite go for that extortionate amount, but it still didn't have a ton of copies printed, so it's also not the most widely available game either. But just what I'm getting at is that if you wanted to experience Tales of the Abyss, actually finding a copy to play would be very difficult in this day and age. So the anime is a perfectly acceptable way to experience it. And I really wish I could say the same thing about the Symphonia anime, because even though Tales Symphonia is probably the most easily accessible Tales game, I can't recommend any of the versions of the game that are available on modern hardware. Because one of the biggest problems that I have with... Let's see... Because every port of Tales of Symphonia besides the original game is not... It's very janky, to say the very least. That's really the best way I can describe it. And it just kind of kills me to say that, because I want more people to play Tales of Symphonia, but just once again, just due to like some of the frame rate issues in the HD version, I can't. Like, I truly can't. Then there was a full anime adaptation of Tales of Zestiria.
Let's get this over with.
To be fair, well, okay, I thought I was done learning new arts, but okay. To be fair, the anime is technically better than the game. But that's because Tales of Zestiria is sadly one of the weakest Tales games. For a number of reasons. Like, I would say it is objectively worse than Tales of Vesperia, just to be clear. But Tales of Zestiria at least has the decency of being short. It doesn't take you very long to beat that game. And the combat in Zestiria is way more fun, so it at least has that going for it. But even still, the anime is only so much better, because its biggest problem is that because Tales of Berseria is a prequel to it, they crowbar in like a couple episodes that revolve around Velvet from Tales of Berseria. And I'm like, dude, if you're going to make a Zestiria anime, make a Zestiria anime. Stop reminding us that you made a better game, you know?
This is Flint's room.
But yeah, the anime is better because they do Alicia better in it. Because I'll stream Zestiria eventually and I'll tell you why. And I'll talk more about it then, but stay on topic. I keep getting sidetracked. So, again, Muffin, you still here? Because I actually want someone to actually hear this story, just so I'm not talking to the Nether, because this is...
He's really keeping this place cleaned up. Well, Flynn must be off gallivanting around somewhere.
It's a very meta reason for why I hate this game, which is not technically this game's fault. So,
So, what sort of wickedness did you do anyway?
Okay, so this is a game, including the HD version, I've had to buy it 3 times.
Me?
Because
I haven't done anything
shortly,
wrong.
I got my Xbox my final year of college on Black Friday.
Yet a bunch of
And I was
monsters
looking up
chasing you
games
around the
to
castle.
that were on the
Yeah, that
Xbox
makes
360, just so I could fill up my library, and I saw
Yuri.
Tales of Vesperia.
Whoa. What is
Oh,
it?
that's part of the Tales
I can't be
series.
specific, but Flynn is in terrible
I'm just sort of
danger.
eating food. That's why I'm not. No, you're good, Muffin. It's just like I said. This is a story I actually want to have an audience for. So
I've got to go and warn him.
and like I said, this was the second Tales game I ever played. So I'm like, more stuff like Tales Symphonia sold. So I got this game for Christmas. Okay, technically I didn't buy it the first time, but I got it for Christmas
I wish I
the
knew.
following month.
Listen,
So
I've got something I've
I
gotta
took
take
it
care of
back
right
with me
away,
to
too.
school, and I was finishing up a playthrough of Dragon Age 2, and I finished it up in the morning before I went to class, so I pulled out Tales of Vesperia and set it next to my Xbox. Well,
As soon as things quiet down outside, I wanna
one
get
of
back
my
to the lower
roommates
quarters.
had his cousin over. He was gonna spend, because our room had, we each had a room to ourselves, but it was equipped with bunk beds, so we occasionally had friends over all the
There's no one I
time.
can depend on.
It was fine, you know.
Will you at least help me get out of the castle?
Yeah, sorry, I know I'm talking over dialogue, but I
Please.
keep getting delayed with this story.
I'm begging you.
Well, when I came back to class, went to put the game in, and the game was gone. Like,
Okay, I can
I
see
like
you're serious,
searched
but
everywhere. I
why
turned the
don't you tell
apartment
me
apart.
your
I
name
even,
first?
like, okay, to be fair, the couches were already falling apart. I just ripped them open a little more in the back, trying to find the game, and it was nowhere. And then I asked my roommate and his cousin, because they were home all day, I'm like, where did the game go? Did you see what happened? Like, I don't know. It's like, I saw it. I'm like, oh, that's, the roommate's like, I saw it. I'm like, oh, that's cool. I like that series, but that's the last time I saw it. And yes, I acknowledge I have zero proof that this is true, but the cousin stole it. Like, there is no other explanation for why that game, my original copy, just disappeared. I hate this character. Why my original copy just disappeared conveniently the same day the cousin came to spend the weekend. So I had to use my limited funds, because I didn't have a job because I was in such a small town, and to replace this game.
The man who will end your life. Now die, Flynn Shifo.
So yeah, this character's whole deal is that he spends a good chunk of the early parts of the game thinking you're Flynn. So that's why he's, anyway, I don't know what this guy reminds me of. You, yeah, no, I think I see what you mean. So yeah, before I even got to play this game for the first time, I had to buy it. You know, like I said, got it as a Christmas present,
I'm not feeling anything.
and it was stolen by my roommate's cousin. So I then had to buy it again. So after, you know, having to go extra steps just to play this game, it ended up being crap.
That's it. Now I feel truly alive.
This character's not interesting. Fighting gets him aroused.
Yuri, let me help you.
Stay away.
But
Bring it. The more the merrier.
If things get out of hand, run for it.
I will.
Oh, don't give up so soon. I haven't had a fight like this in years.
You mean where I hit you 3 times and you
This is fun.
Relax. He's just doing that to mess up our fighting.
You relax. Trust me, he's not thinking that hard.
So that's just who he is?
Do I look like Flynn to you?
Not in the least.
Okay, but he doesn't know who Flynn is. I'm just going to throw that one out there. He was just told to go to
You
this.
got the wrong guy. Aren't you supposed to know this stuff?
He's not Flynn.
Details, details. Bring it.
I
guy's
hate this
nuts.
character.
Flynn sure has made some interesting enemies.
Sagi, we're leaving. The knights are on to us. How dare you? Mind your own business. I'm just getting to the best part.
So yeah, I played had to buy it a second time.
Before the knights get here.
Played it,
Would you rather
hated
have
it,
your fun?
so was out a Christmas present and like $40 since that's what it was going for at the time. Then got the HD remaster of this game, which retailed at $59.99 US, in hopes that maybe this game will be better. Maybe that will have, since it'll be the more complete version, and I can play it with Abby.
Yuri?
Maybe I'll find something that I just maybe.
Oh, right. But I was gonna say, my name is Estelise.
Well then, Estelise, let's get moving.
Wait, we can't just leave the door like that.
I really don't think this is the time to worry about something like that.
I have to agree with Yuri here. By the way,
All right.
I'm pretty sure it's the hair that made you think of Yu-Gi-Oh! When you saw Zagi.
There, good as new. Now let's get going.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm just picking fights at this point because I'm trying to unlock arts and such.
That was easy.
Actually, I just realized something.
I wonder if this is because of those guys earlier. They better not try to pin this on me too.
They will.
No one was hurt.
Don't worry about the knights. They'll make sure to protect themselves.
Yes, I guess so.
You're it all! Where are you hiding?
That must be LeBlanc. I'd recognize those dulcet tones anywhere.
Do the two of you know each other?
We have a bit of a history. Come on, let's hurry.
And again, if Yuri was in the Knights, he technically has a history with.
About your clothes. You'll stick out like a sore thumb.
My room is just up ahead. I have a change of clothes there.
Okay, that'll work.
So he technically would have a history with a lot of these guys. Let's see. No, hold on. Okay, I'm going to turn the battle difficulty up to hard. I doubt that's going to change. Again, given the fact that I'm level 45. Again, I can't believe that that was a thing I got. But
This is my room. I'll go get changed. Just give me a minute.
Got it. Try to be quick about it.
Just in case.
I do
It's
love.
not like I was going to peek.
Flynn did tell me to be careful if I ever met you.
Okay, I do love the whole
Thanks,
"don't you
Flynn.
dare come in here" bit with her.
There, all finished.
I do like.
What? Do I look strange?
I do prefer her hair in the other style. And I think it's cuter, but this, I do.
It's nothing. I was just thinking this doesn't suit you either.
This, I do like this design for
Really?
Estelise, or Estelle, as they used to start calling her.
What's this?
A handshake. It means nice to meet you.
All right, let's get going.
Thanks.
So, one thing that I really didn't like about Estelle when I first met her, for lack of a better word, was,
Yuri, you were a knight once,
how do I
right?
to put this?
Didn't you already
She
say you
felt
heard
like a
about me from
Colette ripoff from
Well,
Symphonia.
it's
And I mean, again, I was already
you
looking
don't
for
seem
like,
to know
oh,
your
this
way
is
around
something
the
that
castle well.
Symphonia already
Are
did.
you an imposter?
That's some imagination you've got.
But
Why would
I
want to
don't feel that's
impersonate a
completely
regular guy
fair.
from the lower quarter?
I do feel she's
I
very
guess you're
much
right.
Come on,
in the
let's
same
go before we're
archetype
caught
as
by the
Colette
castle
from
guards.
Symphonia, but she is not, and I repeat, not a ripoff of Colette from Symphonia. I do think it's very likely that they were like, okay, we want a character like Colette. Let's strip Colette down to like her most basic thoughts and ideas and characteristics, and then let's build a new character on top of it. And I'm pretty sure that's kind of how they got Estelle. But I know something that doesn't help is Colette and Estelle both had like predominantly white costumes with like gold accents with one other color. Because, like, with Colette's, her accents were blue. Whereas Estelle's, they're pink. Plus, Estelle also gets Powhammer like Colette did. Like I said, I do feel at the time I was grasping for reasons to be upset with this game. So I feel that criticism of Estelle is just a worse version of Colette doesn't hold water. But it is just something I do want to bring up to kind of be like, here's a number of reasons why when I first played it, I did have such a harsh reaction to it. Again, not that I think this game is good, but
I finished them off.
I am just trying to be as open as I can be, you know, just because I want to be critical and I want to just make sure that I make my points
I just wanted to check
valid.
on the lower quarter and come back. I didn't expect the extra baggage.
Baggage? I could take it to the castle's lost and found for you.
You're the one person I couldn't really ask to take care of it.
Huh?
Never mind. I'm good.
Okay, let me know if you change your mind.
Guess she's the textbook little naive noble. But why were those knights chasing her?
Another question. Have you ever heard of Nero Sama, I'm guessing? But no, I've never heard of that. What is that?
Oh, man. All right. Crushing it! Drag it!
It'll be 100 years before you can beat me.
Because you've lived a lot longer, right?
Not exactly.
Okay, I will also admit, as much as I don't like Yuri, I do like the end of battle banter that he and Estelle have. Like, I will give the game that. That's cute. That's cute. It's funny. It works.
Man, could you be any weaker?
Don't get cocky. How's this?
It'll be 100 years before you can beat.
This looks easy.
Don't get careless.
How's this?
The light roll, huh? That's a...
Them off.
I finished them.
But by the same token, like that one's like, we finished them off. I finished them off. It's like, yeah, it's kind of funny, but it's also kind of showing. It's like,
Are there many people
I'm
outside
doing
the
all the
castle
work
like
here.
that man Zoggy we met earlier?
Let's see.
No,
Sama
he's one
is
of
an
a
AI
kind. It's pretty
VTuber.
hard to find anyone that nuts.
I see.
It's been developing.
Well, that's a relief. I don't know what I'd do if everyone
Huh.
behaved like that.
Yeah, life would be.
I don't know
pretty
how I
rough if the
feel
world
about
were
that
full of guys like
because
him.
I don't like AI content, the concept of AI content creators in general.
Let's work together.
Just because it's like AI can be used for so many wonderful things to make society better. Why are we using it to streamline and commercialize art? When in many ways art, yes, I know like live streaming is hardly qualified as art, but it is a way that I can express myself in a way that I can talk about games I like, or in this case hate, in a way to kind of...
I beat you into next week.
Next week? But can you really?
Never mind.
Yeah, I just... the idea of AI streamers, AI content... Yes, I know I have... Last year, when I was at a super low place at work, I fell hard into using AI just to make images of, like, edgelord in particular, but like D&D characters I met at a local LARP park. So I am not saying I've never lowered myself to the use of AI or whatever, but it's one of those things that just the more I sit on it, the more issues I have with it when it comes to things like art. Because I think AI is a good thing in many respects because it can be used in many ways. And I mean, I know what you just said. They weren't doing it because they were trying to like streamline art or whatnot. It was more just they were doing it because they wanted to see if they could program AI. So like, that's a little different because the intention is not the same. It's just, I get it, but the guy They're to interact, and it's not only AI, it's like a collaboration more. Okay, those like people who want to make.
Not exactly.
Yeah, okay, that's fair. Cause like, it kind of reminds me of Jack's. Okay, not that way. It kind of reminds me of Jack's films. I know it's just Jack's films, but I'm specifically talking about his channel that he initially created to call out SS Sniper Wolf. Fuck that bitch.
Have you and Flynn known each other a long time?
2, maybe 3 years, something like that.
That's what I'm looking for.
So he's been getting along all right at the castle?
Flynn is a very hardworking and honest knight. It seems like everyone trusts him. The other day, he told me that they've been giving him more responsibility lately, too.
Good for him.
Hardworking and honest. Right. In other words, hard-headed and obsessive.
Huh?
Oh, brother. That's something else that I really fucking hate about Yuri. Oh, yes, this is Sniper Wolf sucks. She really does. But yeah, he does like it. But Jack's Films does his whole thing where he has like, he does videos with his React bot just to kind of point out how pointless people like SS Sniper Wolf actually are. Oh, actually, hold on. I just realized we have Estelle. What? That's cute. That's also cute. Okay, that looks like it's from like... Okay, that's also a costume from Tales of the Abyss. I know that's from another Tales game, but it's one of the earlier ones that I've never played it. I want to say that's from Soul Calibur. I could be wrong, though. Okay, I recognize that costume, but I don't know why. Oh, and that's just... She's basically wearing a knight's uniform. Okay. Ah, cute. Okay, I thought it said large pipe. What? Pfft.
This must be it.
Is there something special about this statue?
It's supposed to have some sort of secret.
It doesn't look like there's anything particularly secretive about it.
Maybe if we moved it, there'd be a hidden passage or something.
You don't think...
Well, we won't know unless we give it a try.
Oh yeah, and also, Yuri is so
He really
strong,
works.
he can push and pull things with one hand. But they've kind of inspired a story to make its own unique thing. 2 AI daughters that are actually being better and better while still keeping the AI charm. Okay, I don't want to make it distinguished from a regular stringer. Okay, that's
What do we have here?
interesting.
Looks like the old man was right.
Do you think this will lead outside?
I can't guarantee it. Well, I'm going down. How about you?
I'm coming too.
That's pretty brave of you. Who was that guy anyway? There was something shady about him.
Oh, so I don't follow her anymore.
What is it? Did you change your mind?
No, your hand. It's injured. Let me take a look at it.
Sorry. She's a streamer I used to watch on Twitch. I haven't followed her in a while. But she was actually endorsed by Bandai Namco themselves.
I'm sorry. I'd never seen a Blastia like that. I wasn't thinking.
That's important that her art seemed to be different than anyone else's.
That's really all it was?
That's really all it was. My hand feels better. Thanks.
So yeah, her ability to heal, super important for the
No,
story.
it's the least I could do.
Okay, let's go.
But like, cause like she,
There are monsters
when
down
Bandai
here, too.
Namco released the game Code
That's what these things
Vein,
are?
which was
You've
a game
never
I
seen one
wanted to
before?
get into, but it's Dark Souls-esque, and I just couldn't wrap my head around, like, there was like a
Well, let's
million
hurry up
different
and take care of this,
control
shall we?
inputs. But anyway, like, to promote it, she cosplayed as one of
Yuri,
the
They're coming.
I don't know if it's one of the characters, but one of like
This is
the
annoying.
I think it was in God Eater. I actually got an outfit for my character, God Eater 3, that was from Code Vein, because Bandai Namco loves to cross-promote their games by including Easter eggs and costumes for their other properties in their other games. You know, I like it. I actually like Bandai Namco for the most part as a company. But anyway, but yeah, this streamer, like I said, when Code Vein was coming out, she cosplayed in one of the outfits to help promote it. She actually had a very convincing Sheena cosplay from Tales of Symphonia. Like, honestly, it was so good. I would be like, I would have no trouble casting this woman
That should take care of it.
to play Sheena in a movie because of how much she actually
Generally have
looked
to
like
defeat each
Sheena.
monster one by one, but sometimes they come in groups.
Really? We should be careful when we go ahead.
You can take on a monster one at a time, or take them on in a group. Your choice.
Yuri, which way do you think we should go?
Whichever. Let's just get out of here.
Anyway,
Wait. Wait for me. I need to thank whoever told you about this underground passage.
Why would you need to be thankful for something like that?
And
I'm
I've
trying
made a
to get
whole
out of
ass
the castle
universe.
just like you.
I made a whole
all
ass
well and
universe
good.
like
There's
text
no
about
need to be
AI
all
robots
thankful
and
because of it.
Oh
carrying
no,
those
we
designs
must
and
show
gyros.
courtesy to those who show us kindness.
Sort of weird to be polite to somebody you've never met, don't you think?
Manners are never so important as when dealing with those with whom we've yet to be acquainted.
You really think so, huh?
I know so.
Let's get this over with.
Shoot, what was I saying? Anyway, I don't know if she still does, but I do know that like Bandai Namco had her show up to help promote the re-release of this game for school. It's like 40 pages. Nice.
It'll be 100 years before you can beat me.
But they had her cosplay, you know, as she came wearing her Sheena cosplay to help promote the re-release of this game. And everyone threw a fit 'cause it's like, Sheena's not from this game. She should have cosplayed as Judy from this game because Judy is so much hotter than Sheena. Well, what they actually mean is Judy wears much less clothing than Sheena does. Because, like, don't get me wrong, Sheena does have her, like, she has, like, her open shirt, so her bra and her side boob is very apparent, you know, but Judy basically wears a battle bikini with thigh-high boots and whatnot. Well, okay, it's not a battle bikini. Point is, people just were upset that she was, you know, not showing off enough skin for them to oogle her properly, you know, and it was just kind of gross.
A cornered cat becomes a lion.
Meow. I'm a lion now. Meow. 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 I don't know. I have kind of a tumultuous history when it comes to sexy female characters in video games, you know? Like, I personally don't enjoy, you know, sexy character designs, and I don't want to act like I'm on the moral high ground to say, like, no, I don't, like, women should never dress sexy, you know? You honestly sounded like my cat yawns. Alright, awesome. But I do know... How do I put this? The problem is, especially when it comes to, like, cosplay, when it's like, yeah, a lot of women do sexy character cosplays, but it's like, well, when most of their favorite characters are all dressed in super skimpy outfits, how can they dress up as their favorite characters without showing off a fuck ton of skin? So it's like, just because they're wearing something sexy doesn't mean it's an invitation, you know? Maybe the woman's wearing it because she likes it, or she feels good in it, or that character makes her feel good. It's not just their... I guess what I'm saying is there's not enough... I don't mind sexy character designs as long as there's just as many in the opposite direction, if you know what I mean. Because, like,
It'll be 100 years before you
Abby has been struggling with her body image for years and has always been hesitant to wear clothes that make her feel good about her body. Because a lot of these clothes that do make her feel good do show off things like her shoulders and... I mean, yeah, they're not super scandalous or whatever, you know, but she's always been afraid that people are going to be creepy about it, you know? I mean, heck, a really good friend of mine who she moved to the other side of the country, so I haven't seen her in person in like 2 years, and I've only like heard her voice like twice in those last 2 times just because, well, we mostly just instant message each other because, yeah, why wouldn't we? Yeah, she's actually, despite the fact that she is very conventionally beautiful, she's just had so many bad experiences with men. Yeah, some guys are just really creepy. It sucks. With men just reducing her value purely down to her sex appeal, despite the fact that she doesn't like sex, like, at all. It makes her feel uncomfortable because she's been used too many times and cheated on too many times. That she's just not comfortable wearing anything that shows off any of her body because she's
an entire night.
she just doesn't want to
like it led to the
feel
Royal
like she's
Quarter.
just an object, you know?
Everything looks so different from the windows of the castle.
Oh, come on. You sound like this is your first time out of the castle.
Well...
It is.
I guess a lady who lives in a castle can't just take a walk outside whenever she wants.
Yes, you're right.
Well, hey, at least we made it out of the castle.
Was that not right?
I do actually kind of like the fact that she has the concept of when someone holds their hand up, you're supposed to touch it. I do like the fact, like, crap, what exactly am I supposed to do?
It's fine.
That is why I don't like seeing myself as a man. That word has been tainted by those terrible people.
So, Wesley, what are you gonna do now that you're out?
I kind of am with you. I definitely don't view myself as trans or gender fluid.
The other day, he said he was
But there are
going off
definitely
on a
times where I'm like, I don't like that I'm a man because of how many...
Oh, that thing.
Going
around the cities of the Empire, piling up good deeds.
Yeah. And again, I'm not a saint by any means. Like, I'll be the first to admit, I own a couple video games that are basically just there for cheap titillation, you know? But it's like, some of them, like, how do I put this? I don't own a game that's just straight up I don't own games that are just straight up pornography. Any of these games I own, I'm like, it's because I'm like, there's usually something more. Like, maybe there's some humor to be had from it, or, I don't know, maybe the game is just fun,
that's
you
why
know?
I'm going to the City of Blossoms, Halor. Halor is the first place that knights traditionally visit on a pilgrimage.
I prefer to call myself a boy guy. That's why I never got opted for the Muffin Man. Just Muffin Boy. I feel ya.
So you'll need to go outside the barrier.
Have you ever been beyond the barrier?
A little while back. I'd like to go, but I can't just leave the lower quarter like it is. Come on, I'll show you the way out of town. It's on the way to the lower quarter.
Yeah, just push this you know, sheltered woman out the front gate. That's gonna end well. I mean, don't get me wrong. I get what he means. He's like, well, but by the same token, you don't know where the guy went with the... Okay, you know what? Can I change who's in the lead? Sorry, I really hate just the way that his sword swings while he runs around. It looks so stupid. So I am not going to be having him as my avatar, if I can help it, like, at all. Plus, I have no interest in being a typical macho man. I'm just me. I'm not a man. Well, but here's the thing. And this is the thing I really hate, especially about a lot of red-blooded American, or red pill Americans. They buy into this whole idea that being... like, they have such a narrow view of what's manly, which I'm like, no, I'm not gay, I'm not trans, but I do not buy into this whole, this is what being a man is, or that other type of, you know, bullshit, you know? See, that's why That's why I really related to the character of Kanji Tetsumi from Persona 4. Heck, Kanji was like the first character I ever cosplayed. Because he was a man. I mean, okay, I know that Kanji's bi. I don't know. I know some people say he's gay, but he's constantly insisting he likes women. I think it's just more Kanji's... While he may prefer women, he's more attracted to people individually, you know? Because he was attracted to Naoto when he thought Naoto was a man. And even after finding out Naoto was still a woman, he stayed attracted to her. I don't know. I don't know if there's like a atypical... But again, back to Kanji, it's like...
The jig is up.
He was interested in sewing and cute shit, you know?
Enough grandstanding, arrest him!
What should we do?
First, you pick up one of these, then go like this. Ooh! Ow! Let's get to the lower quarter.
Yuri, where have you been?
I got an invitation to the castle and had the most marvelous time there.
Yeah, I'm a guy, but sure, I have traits that would be seen as feminine, but also... Yeah.
Of all the... Then who's the young lady?
Pleased to meet you. I'm Estelise.
The pleasure is all mine, miss. More importantly, about those Imperial Knights. They've been so busy looking for you, they haven't paid any attention to our fiasco down here. So you've really managed to tick them off, huh?
It looks that way. Has Repeat come back yet?
Sure did. And he was carrying some bag.
What happened to it?
It should be up in your room.
Go pick it up later. Give it a shake. It has a nice jingle to it. Mordio liked it too.
You met Mr. Mordio?
Yeah, but the rat left town. Apparently he's someone important from a city called Ospio.
Left town? Well, then that means we've been hoodwinked.
Afraid so. His house was empty, and I doubt he's even a real noble.
I see.
Looks like the Aqua Blasty has finally stopped leaking water.
Well, without a core, it won't budge.
Is there enough water for the time being?
Yeah, but it won't last long. After that, we'll just get it from the river. Get the runs, though.
And the knights aren't gonna help. Guess I'll go get it back from the thief myself.
What? You aren't thinking of following Mordio beyond the barrier, are ya?
Don't worry. I'll be back before you know it.
Who's worried? It's a good opportunity for you. No need for you to hurry back here.
Huh? What do you mean by that?
What I mean is we can get along just fine without you.
This pink girl looks really pretty. Her halo is also really nice, plus the color scheme is growing on me. I agree. I mean, the halo and the angel, that's an accessory I threw on just because I think it really fits her design.
Flynn needs to learn to mind his own business.
So, this is something else I do need to address real quick. This game has one of the, shall we say, worst bits of story drip feeding, for lack of a better word. Here's kind of what I mean. In Tales of Symphonia, the game starts with you being told, hey, the world is in danger, you need to fix it. This game starts with telling you, hey, this is the dangers of the world we live in. There's not necessarily an attempt to fix it, but then there's like, oh, the Blastia got stolen. That's what we need to go try to... That's what we need to try to go fix or whatever. So that's kind of what kicks off the quest in this one. That, for the record, that's not the problem. That's not the problem. And quite frankly, the fact that it is a little more small scale and personal, it's like we need to get the thing back that was stolen. That's a good setup. The problem is, in Tales of Symphonia in particular, it's like, okay, we got to go save the world. But on the journey to save the world, they drip feed little bits of information that's like, okay, there's more to saving the world than just what we thought. And, oh shit. And then, you know, by the time we get to, you know, one point in Tales of Symphonia, find out, oh crap, there's more to it than saving the world. We've got to travel to a new world. And then, like, anytime a plot twist came in Symphonia, it was always built up. Or maybe not a plot twist, but a change in direction for the story. This game we're not given much direction. It's just get the thing back and then...
You've given my two lackeys a headache. Now be a good boy and turn yourself in.
It'll become more obvious as the game goes on, but you're never actually sure what you're working towards half the time.
That's our cue. Looks like I won't be coming back here for a while.
Never a dull moment with Yuri around. After this, I'll be even with you for getting that money back.
And just make sure you don't kick the bucket blowing it all on some crazy party.
Ha, same to you. See that you don't go dying in any ditches.
It's like, I will admit, as much as I hate Yuri, I do like the sense of community the poor have in this game.
It was nice
At
to
least
meet
in
you,
the
sir.
beginning. It's just unfortunate they're just like non-characters.
Pain in the neck. You make sure and take care of yourself now.
I will. Thank you.
Guy just air fisting nice. Yeah. He's...
When are you gonna fix the fountain, Sir Knight? Hey, cool, a knight!
Hooray! Hooray!
Won't you help this old man find his dentures? Fools! You're in my way. Do not interfere in the affairs of the Empire.
Don't you make her cry!
What are you talking about? Hey, quit pushing! Hey, who just hit me? I'm gonna remember that.
This might come in handy if you're going to Halur.
Oh, thank you.
A map? Wait a sec, this only has the roads written on it.
What did you expect? It's better than nothing considering people don't normally leave the city.
Okay, I know, like, that particular voice actor, I'm trying to think. I know her, I know it, but I can't place it. I know that voice actor, but...
You'll have to fill in the empty spaces on your own.
And honestly, I don't mind that. Okay. I remember that this ain't a Telltale game, Yuri.
First off,
Yeah,
you should
because
head for
Telltale
Tape
Games is
Two.
gone. You know, speaking of Telltale Games, a game that I did plan on streaming for the channel, but I just never actually got around to. I mean, it's still on my to-do list, but I have the Telltale Jurassic Park game for the Xbox
They're all gonna
360.
miss you so much.
Honestly,
Yep.
they're probably thrilled to finally get rid of me.
But yeah, I've just never gotten around to it.
Hey, hold it! Who put money in here? I can't take this.
Especially since,
Get out of my way.
again, as much as I hate Yuri, I don't mind some of his early game characterization. Not the, oh, I'm so bored, or why don't you go get Flynn? Like, that's stupid. But,
I guess I'll have to keep it for now.
well, then again, I can't say that he's showing humility. It's really just more, ugh, you can't help me. I'm supposed to help you, or whatever, you know?
Well, for now, it's north to Dayton Hold.
What? Oh, right.
I'm not sure how long we'll be together. And here's to the road ahead, Estelle.
Yes, Huh? Estelle? Estelle.
Right. Yuri's one who comes up with that nickname.
To the road ahead, Yuri.
Well, so long for now.
We hope to be back soon.
Minecraft story mode is pretty cool. Sometimes is even making a full animated series that retells the story in modern Minecraft and is actually well animated. Okay, that's pretty cool. Okay, cool. Rapide's back. I don't remember if Rapide had any titles that he could get, but...
A map, equipment, and even money. Your friends are so generous, Yuri.
They can't afford this. They can barely get by as it is.
Well, I'm sure they're worried about you and want you to have a safe journey.
It's more likely they're just glad to be rid of a troublemaking kid.
That's not true.
Guess I can't come back empty-handed now that they've given us all this stuff. Now I gotta bring back the Aquablastia, no matter what.
Okay. Sorry, Again, as much as I don't like this game, this overworld looks great. Like, seriously, just... Only 4 Tales games that I've played use this overworld system of, like, you're big people walking around the overworld, and then you walk up to, like, the little tiny towns, and then you transition into them or whatever. And those 4 games were Tales of Hearts R, Tales of Symphonia, Tales of Vesperia, and Tales of the Abyss. And I know that technologically speaking, how the new Tales games handle it is more immersive, you know, but I miss this. Even a big pile of manure can have a diamond. I agree. And I know it's just because Tales of Symphonia is my favorite game of all time, so I'm very biased towards this type of exploration in a sense. But yeah, I miss 3D RPG, because, like, yes, I can still play some indie games that are like throwbacks to early Final Fantasy that technically have a similar setup, but I miss this kind of like 3D art, because these are kind of like bridges between like the Final Fantasy 1 through 6 type of RPG and more modern approaches to RPGs, you know? Oh, by the... Oh, here we go.
Estelle. Estelle.
She's been mumbling to herself for a while now. Hey, you coming? We don't have all day here.
Estelle. Estelle.
Looks like she's in her own little world. Hey, Estelle.
Oh, right. Sorry. I'm coming.
You know...
Do they not have nicknames where she's from?
You know, honestly, I kind of get it. Like, here's the thing. I have never had a nickname my entire life outside of, what's it called? So, I'm not going to say it. The closest I've ever had is when I've insisted on using my middle name in a couple situations. I mean, to be perfectly frank, I prefer my middle name, and I would be using my middle name both on the channel and just in more places, but Abby likes my first name better, so I'm like, all right, honey, you can use my first name in social situations, but...
Yuri, is this dog yours?
Yeah, he's my partner, Rapide.
But...
Oh, nice to meet you too.
My
Nice to
dad...
meet you too. Did you actually understand what Rapide was saying?
No.
Yeah, I guess that was a stupid question.
How do I put this? So, my father, growing up, he had a name that was like abridged, shortened, etc. So he always hated the fact that he never had a consistent thing that he was called by people. So he went out of his way to make sure that me, my older brother, and Sunshine all had names that couldn't really be abbreviated. Well, at least mine and my older brother's. Sunshine's, well, anyway, he's had their name can be abbreviated a lot more. Anyway, simply because he's like, oh, I don't like that. So I'm naming you all things that can't be abbreviated. It's also, so like, my dad was named after his dad. So, like, yeah, I'll just tell you, since my grandpa's name, my dad's name is Robert, and my grandpa's name was Robert. But sorry, Abby just let me know that they just finally, like, the name was picked as a name that could be translated into Swedish, English, and Mongol. Oh, that's cool. That's actually pretty cool. Sorry, Abby just texted me, like, the show she's been co-directing opening night is in 3 hours. And they finally just got the set finished. Because, so the person who was supposed to build their set, he built the set wrong and then he quit without notice. So, and that also happened with their prop maker. So Abby's had to make all their props. And their costumer quit too. So the director had to make all the costumes because he had more experience with sewing machines. But, so my grandpa's was always just known as Bob, or Grandpa Bob, Uncle Bob, etc. So my dad, in the family, everyone called him Bobby.
Never guessed I'd leave.
He really hates that name.
Are you sorry
But then
to
in
be
professional
leaving
settings,
Grandpa
he's called
behind you?
Robert, but to his friends, he's just called Bob. So he hated that he had all these different things that people called him, you know?
I guess I did feel like
So when I actually asked him if he could start using my middle name, he's basically like, no.
I've always dreamed of going out into the world.
I have a lot of issues with my dad. Bro, what the fuck? People stick to your roles.
I'm
I'm
excited
just quit with
and
that for
worried
real.
all at the same
Like,
time.
I was my original plan is I was hoping that I could have actually started this game on Saturday and finished Pikmin on Sunday or Saturday as well. But the thing is, Abby needed me to come in at around 2 o'clock and help her build the set. Because it was that, yeah, and it took us like 10 hours to finish what we were working on. So it was pretty bad, to say the very least. But yeah, my dad just vehemently refused to, he was completely unwilling to let me be called by my middle name, because he's like, I know this is based on something from I don't know if it's from another Tales game, but I know it's from another Bandai Namco game. I could be wrong, but that might, I think Okami was Bandai Namco. I've had a lot of issues with my dad as well, but I'm still living with him, so complicated way I live. Yeah, it's like, I don't hate my father, but we will never have a strong bond, and it's just that's the reality of the situation. I don't hate him. He was not abusive per se, but anyway. Just, I hated the fact that he was like, no, I named you Luke. I refuse you to call you anything but Luke. Because he couldn't be bothered to remember my preferred name, which ended up being kind of ironic because Sunshine ended up coming out as, you know, gender non-binary or gender, I don't remember if it's non-binary or gender fluid. And they basically said, you know, please use my preferred pronouns. And I mean, don't get me wrong, well, my dad had issues with that too. They're actually putting forth the effort to do that. But God forbid that I wanted to use my middle name. Anyway. But anywho, sorry, back to my original point. So because my name, Luke, is one that's a little hard to abbreviate into a nickname outside people just making really tasteless Luke Skywalker jokes, which is another reason why I don't like the name Luke, because I got sick of Star Wars jokes when I was like 8 years old. Because when I grew up, the special editions of Star Wars were released on VHS. Yeah, I'm old. So Star Wars Mania and the prequels came out when I was, came out when I was 8 years old. So I grew up through massive Star Wars Mania. Not like when it originally released. I wasn't born for when Star Wars was originally released. But
it's really true.
Yeah, I just don't like my first name. But anyway, back to my original point. Someone at work actually put forth a nickname for me, and that's the first nickname I've truly had outside of like really condescending nicknames. And it was just kind of one of those things. It's like, kind of mulling it over, being like, Nickname, huh? I've never had that before. So I understand why Estelle was just like, Estelle, Estelle. I like the sound of it, you know? But yeah, like someone at work, I'm not going to give the full context because it's not important, but he actually asked if he could just call me Salamander, and I said, okay.
I wonder. Well, let's do our best.
One of my middle names are Luke because my dad really loves Star Wars. Yeah, to be fair,
And I want to catch up with
my
Flynn as soon
dad
as I
didn't
can.
name me for Star Wars. Like,
Alright.
Star Wars was a thing by the time I was born. And I mean, the Mania only picked up a few years after I was born, so it was very much not a in response because of it wasn't because of Star Wars, you know. But yeah.
Welcome. I've got some nice gear in stock today. This blade was forged by none other than Assam the Blade Master. It even comes equipped with weapon skills.
Okay, here we go.
No traveler should be without them. Feel free to give it a try.
Huh? What do you mean?
The special techniques contained in weapons. These techniques were originally passed down from master to pupil. But the Blade Master Assam used a special process to seal them within the weapons themselves. Bodhi Blastia can acquire techniques from weapons imbued with this power. With continued use, weapon arts can eventually be learned by the person using the weapon.
My, this young lady knows her stuff. That about sums it up.
I read in a book that the Kritya gave this knowledge to humans long ago.
Huh. I thought Bodhi Blastia only let you use strike and magic arts.
In order to find the fighting style that meets your needs, it's best to think carefully about weapon skills when choosing your weapon. There are even weapons without weapon skills that focus instead on raw attack power. It all depends on your preference.
So this was kind of what I
have weapon skills sealed inside them. Those weapon skills will be stored inside your Bodhi Blastia when you equip the weapons. If you have a weapon equipped, you can use the weapon skills sealed inside whenever you want. However, if you unequip that weapon, you'll have to set the weapon skills to be able to use them.
So
each weapon skill belongs to one of four. When you set a few different skills,
this was kind of what I was talking earlier. It's something I do actually like about this game. This idea is that different weapons you get can teach you permanent skills. It's just you have to keep using them until you learn the skill, which means, oh, do I want to trade up for a more powerful weapon or keep using this weaker one to learn that good permanent skill, you know? Grace's had something similar, but it was tied to the titles instead.
Did you hear that?
I think both are perfectly fine and perfectly good ways of doing it.
Huh? Did you say
On the one hand, the titles are a little less intrusive, but I do think I prefer this system as a whole.
That's all right. Go ahead and take it. It's pretty old and it has some pages missing, but it's yours if you like.
Thank you very much.
Is that book any good?
It's fascinating. You can read it as soon as I finish.
Now, I could be wrong about this, but I think either this, at least of the ones that were released in America, like, to be clear, whenever I talk about, oh, this game was, like, in the Tales game, this game was X, Y, and Z, I am specifically talking about the American releases of the game, just due to the simple fact that I mean, I know there's, like, emulation you can do to, you know, play, like, there's, like, fan translations and whatnot. I've never been particularly good about getting emulators to work, and I actually, in many ways, don't much care for emulators and how they control. They can be wonky. So again, just to be clear, whenever I talk about most anything on this channel, I am almost exclusively talking about the English releases of these games. So just saying that just to make things clear. Now, one other thing I do actually also like about this game is, sorry, I'm just kind of looking at everything. I do know that like crafting kit that I got earlier gave me a lot of things I could craft. I'm going to hold off a little bit just because they might be more useful later. But again, the thing that I do like, let me get back up to the top, is that a lot of the characters, not all of them, I think it might just be Yuri, Estelle, and Carol. We haven't gotten Carol yet, but... So, Yuri uses swords, but so does Estelle. But Estelle also uses wands. So there's some weapons that can be used by both Yuri... Actually, maybe Flynn can do this too. Sorry, Flynn... In the original release on the 360, you only could control Flynn for a single fight. He was not a permanent party member. But in this HD remaster, he does become a permanent party member. But Yuri can... So that there are some weapons that both Yuri and Estelle can both equip, meaning they both can get the weapon skills from them, and I like that. And then Yuri and Carol can both use axes, but then Carol can also use hammers that Yuri can't use. Yeah, it's just... Mechanically speaking, I do have to acknowledge that is something that I do think is really good in this game. Okay. Would you believe I said in Season 6 of Ninjago the main villain is a little... Oh, dear God. I'm probably going to regret this, but you need to give me some context, Muffin. That sentence requires some explaining. Actually, thinking about it, I think the reason why so many people stupidly love this game is a lot of people don't give a hoot or a holler about the story. It's just like, oh, the mechanics in this game are kind of interesting, you know? So they're just like, oh, it's the best one just because it does these few things that are kind of cool. And I'm like, yes, again, I can acknowledge that. But these cool elements, like I said... these cool elements don't match up and are not like so much better than things some of the other Tales games do. So I'm like, I still feel people rate this game. People rate this game way too high, in my humble opinion. Also, one other thing I do want to acknowledge, and again, going back to what I started saying, I'm only talking about the American releases of these games, but I think this was the last Tales game to use the basic arts versus combat arts. So, you know, the whole system, basic attack builds up TP, and then you use the TP to use arts. Because starting with Graces into... Actually, maybe... No. Zelia brought this system back, but then Zestiria and Berseria embraced the Graces system. And I think Arise did too. Where it's like, instead of having arts that, you know, your arts were your attacks, you just could only use so many. Yeah, I don't remember. So yeah, but yeah, so like the 1,000-year-old Jin, basically a genie, but different. He wanted to marry a fifth. Oh, what the fuck? Oh, dear God. Look, okay, I want to be clear. I don't mind stories per se when it's like, one person is like actually hundreds, if not thousands of years old, and they're dating someone who's maybe like 20 or something like that, as long as both parties are consenting adults. But when one of the characters is literally underage, that's no. Okay. Let me also rephrase that. If, say for an example, a woman in her 20s to 30s starts dating a ferryman who looks to be in his 20s or 30s, but happens to be 1,000 years old, I'm okay with that because they're not fetishizing kids. Love my favorite kid show, Ninjago. They never point out the cause. It's a kid show. No kidding. But take like the Dragon Girl thing that, unfortunately, as much as I love Fire Emblem, it's guilty of this, where it's like, yeah, she looks like she's 10, but she's actually thousands of years old, so it's legal to bang her. I hate this character.
Hey, hold on.
Hello? I beg your pardon, but what are you looking at?
Humanity at work. A tenacious attachment to this life.
I like this voice actor. He was in a lot of stuff that I watched as a kid.
Huh?
Why? Why must humans live the lives they do?
So, just for spoilers, this is the main villain. he shouldn't have been the main villain. His entire gimmick is people suck, so people need to die. That is his only character trait. But also look at his design. He's a male character with long hair that's the opposite color of Yuri. So they're trying to push him as like an antithesis of the main character. But it doesn't work because his motivations are too bland. Because again, as we've seen up to this point, the story we're setting up is one about classism. But because classism is not like the world's going to literally end, that's not good enough. So they shoved this guy into the narrative so it can be like, I'm going to kill all humans.
They fight for a share of monopolized technology and hurt even those closest to them.
Blah, blah.
Are you talking about Blastia? I can't speak for anyone else, but it doesn't seem to me like there's any reason why we get dumped into the world. Once you're here, you just do what you can to give this life everything you've got.
Yeah.
Perhaps there is truth in what you say.
Hey!
Buy dollar store Sephiroth.
What was that all about?
Got me. They say the heat can make people go a little crazy.
Is it hot?
So that is an optional scene, just FYI. This is something that I found out when I was trying to play through this with Abby, and I'm probably not going to catch all of them. You can run into that character periodically at certain points throughout the game, and if you miss running into him, then you mess up the quest chain or whatever. So, anyway. What's the word I'm looking for? Sorry, I didn't mean. But yeah, they're just like, oh, we're just crowbarring him throughout the game to build him up as like, oh, he's the true threat that's just there in the background, even though it's like this game's biggest flaw is it wasn't a small story. I know that seems weird, but this game would, like, I would say inarguably would be the best Tales game if the story was kept a little smaller. But because they had to make the story big, it just doesn't work as a narrative. Again, Berseria does a lot of what this game tried to do, but does it better. Hi, I don't remember your voice actor's name, but when I first heard that voice, I got excited because that's the voice actor who voiced My Valentine in Yu-Gi-Oh! She also took over for Sheena in the Tales Symphonia sequel that did not happen. What are you talking about? I didn't just say that there was a sequel to Tales Symphonia. You're on drugs!
Shut the gate now! Damn it! What are they doing here this time of the year? The monsters will fall back if we stop the main charge. Remember your training!
One thing that I wish was explained a little better is what's the difference between animals and monsters in this world, you know? Because, like, we see horses that are basically like unicorns, but I don't really know what's the difference between them and... Anyway. Yeah, the Jin being low-key pedophile is actually wild for kids show. Thank God he's trapped in eternity inside a teapot. That's also good.
We just left the capital and things are already getting crazy.
It kind of reminds me of... What's it called? I watched Your Movie Sucks review. Like, he did a expose on the Kimba controversy, or the Lion King Kimba controversy. And he showed some clips from the original Kimba TV show from the 60s. And yeah, the character Boss Claw, who people say Scar's a ripoff of. I say says, but anyway. He's canonically a pedophile, because there's a scene where he basically flat out says to, like, the female lion cub, you know, so the underage girl, it's like, you should come be my queen when you're a little older. I can fight!
My doll! Mama's doll! Hey, let go of me!
You wait here.
So much for keeping a low profile.
Yuri!
Again, I also feel this scene is here to just show it's like, oh, Yuri's a risk-taking badass who super duper cares for people, and you know, it's fine. It's super cheesy, but it's fine.
Oh, it's nothing, really.
I'm not sure what I would have done if you hadn't cured me. Thanks.
Again, I do think it's a little forced, but it's fine.
I'm just thankful that everyone's safe. Whoa.
I think it would have worked better if they hadn't already tried to do so many things to really hammer home Yuri is cool, you know?
Out, huh?
Sick tricks, dog. Yep.
It really is dangerous beyond the barriers with so many ferocious monsters around.
This place could definitely use a barrier against a pack that big.
Couldn't they install a barrier Blastia here?
No. Barriers are a precious resource.
You're right. And with the current technology, we can't make any more. If only we could recover the secrets of the ancient Garayos civilization. They created the Blastia.
I will give this game some credit. I do like the mystery behind the lost technology. I don't think it's told the best way, but... Okay, I need to get this out of the way. The reason I hate this game so much, it's the same reason why Digimon Frontier is my least favorite season of Digimon, is because there are nuggets of amazing ideas sprinkled throughout. So when they don't work, it's just all the more frustrating. Also, Yuri just sucks as the main character, and he'll get worse as the game goes on. So that's another factor.
Even if that were to happen, I can't see the Empire using the knowledge for the common good.
Like, it's the reason why Tales of Zestiria... I mean, it's a similar reason why Tales of Zestiria is so frustrating. It's just Soray is not as frustrating of a main character. Rose is, like... I'd actually go as far to say Rose is worse than Yuri, but... Zestiria is a much shorter game. So, I can get over its problems a little easier.
You two there. I'd like to have a word with you.
So why don't you let us through? I'll beat those monsters to a pulp with these fists.
Oh, God.
How many times do I have to say it? These monsters are tougher than you think.
I forgot about these idiots.
You dare to doubt the power of the monster hunters? Stop!
I hate these guys. They are so annoying.
You knights cheated us out of a job back there, and now we're gonna work off some steam.
Hey, hold it! It's always the same with these guild idiots.
Great, we'll never get through as long as this keeps up.
But Flynn is headed to Halor, and we're so close.
Well, getting caught by the knights wouldn't be too fun. Let's find another way through.
We made quite a scene, didn't we? I was so worried once those knights noticed us.
I told you we couldn't stand out.
You're the one who just jumped.
Yeah.
I can't just look away when monsters are attacking someone right in front of me, right?
What are you talking about, Yuri?
That sounded just like the way Flynn described you, that's all.
Look,
He often
again,
said that you
I
could
don't
never
have a
turn a
problem
blind
with
eye when
Yuri
someone near you was
not
suffering.
being able to
Well,
not
next time
help
you see
someone.
him,
That's not the
you tell him
issue.
that I said he's the
But then
same
why
way.
are you complaining about drawing attention to yourselves when you're the one who drew attention to yourselves? God! Oh, I hate this character. Oh, he's such a preachy hypocrite. I'm actually kind of glad to say that it's almost dinner time here. So, I am going to probably be wrapping up in the next 15 minutes. Because, damn, okay, I for some reason thought I had to come up here to meet Kaufman. But yeah, basically, if we didn't talk to Duke, that was that guy's name, by the way, is Duke. He would be gone, and we wouldn't have gotten that scene. Not that you really missed much by listening to this guy be like, why do humans do what they do? What is the scent of mother? Does purple times the hydratic equation equal Gilgamesh? Should you be worried if your muffins start talking to you? Is Edgelord actually a really annoying character that no one actually wants to watch anymore? Does Luke have every intention... Does Luke gonna have to rework his entire streaming schedule if Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles wins? Yes. Yes, I am. So, for those who don't know, there is a poll...
You there. How about coming to work for me? You'll be paid, of course.
Okay, I can't decide whether or not if it's the voice or if this character is just really hot in general. I mean, because the character is hot, but I'm like, is the reason why I'm just like, hamana, hamana, hamana because of the voice, or is it just the design?
What do you say?
You know, I'm not going to lie. When I first saw Kaufman, again, that's her name, Kaufman, I'm like, okay, she has to be playable because she has such a unique design,
So
but
it's
sadly
not
she's
bad
not
manners to
a
try
playable
and buy
character.
someone without even introducing yourself?
Watch your mouth.
You're just as charming as I expected. I'm Kaufman of the Merchants Guild Fortunes Market. We handle everything from trade to distribution.
Guilds, huh?
You see, I'm in quite a tight spot, and it's all thanks to these tremors.
Design and voice for me.
I'd rather not know, but was that the work of a monster?
Yes, the Lord of the Plains.
Lord of the Plains?
He's the leader of that pack of monsters.
And it's like a super late game
Man, there's some
optional boss
amazing
fight.
things out there.
Do you know if there's another way we can cross the plains? We're in a hurry.
I'm afraid you'll just have to wait for the Lord of the Plains to leave.
Huh. I guess there's no point getting worked up over it.
But I can't afford to just sit and wait. I'm gonna get a second opinion.
You're with a guild that does product distribution, but you don't know any other routes?
I could hire you and just charge through once the leader moves on, but you don't seem interested.
If it's bodyguards you want, why not hire the knights?
Are you forgetting that we guild members have thrown away our rights as Imperial citizens? Once you leave the Empire behind, you can't expect them to help you a whole lot. So naturally, the Imperial Knights would never deign to escort the likes of us.
Wow, you really stick to your principles.
It's more just the knights suck.
Without that level of determination, one could never hope to run a guild.
Well, maybe you could use your determination to do something about that Lord of the Plains.
Go to the Koi Woods that lie to the west of here. If you pass through the forest, you'll come out on the far side of the plains.
But the fact that you guys aren't going that way must mean we have some surprise to look forward to.
I like a boy with quick wits, but I like one that doesn't waste a potential investment even better.
Thanks. I owe you one. Maybe I'll talk to you about that job if we meet again.
Actually, I know one thing that I do like about this game, and I don't think it was a thing in Tales of the Abyss, but all the previous Tales games, the characters' weapons wouldn't change in the cutscenes. They would just use like a default model. But the fact this was the first Tales game, as far as I know, that actually like the weapon Yuri has equipped is the one that shows up in the cutscenes. All right, go get some sleep. It's past midnight for me. Please stay sane, Luke. Weird if Edgelord was the reasonable one of you two. Yep. Anyway, I'm probably gonna be wrapping up here soon anyway.
For the monsters to leave or anything. I'm just resting a little.
Oh, I see. Well then, I guess I'll just have to take the other way around by myself.
What? How did you... Hey, wait for me!
Bye-bye. But yeah, so,
that woman who gave us directions.
if
she said
Final
she was in a
Fantasy
guild,
Crystal
right?
Chronicles, it's going to be the remastered version, by the way. I know the remastered version is bad compared to the original, but I'm doing it for a specific reason.
Are you interested in the
If
guilds?
that wins, Abby has actually asked if she could play too, and we're going to be streaming
We may
because
meet lots of people
all
in guilds
the
before
entire
we're done with our
multiplayer
trip.
in Crystal Chronicles
a little less
Remastered
aggressive than that woman
is
was.
online. So we're going to actually, like, once Abby, we're going to let Abby join first, of course. And then it's just basically going to be an open invitation to anyone who actually wants to play Crystal Chronicles with us can pop in during the levels, you know? So, yeah, that's what I meant by I'd have to rethink my entire stream schedule. Anyway, like I said, it's getting close to dinner time, and I'm getting really frustrated with this game. Well, with this character. Like I said, so far from a gameplay standpoint, this game is fine. Like I said, it even does a lot of good things, but the game just keeps going downhill. And I've got to go back to work tomorrow. It's my last day of vacation, so I want to have some dinner and then relax a little. So thank you all for joining me. I'm probably not going to have time to stream during the week. I mean, I might, but I don't know. So as of right now, plan that my streams are going to resume just being, you know, the normal weekend ones coming, you know, starting this next weekend. So yeah, I'm not sure when, but I'll see you guys then. Bye-bye.